What's going on, guys? Welcome back into the channel. Today we've got another Houston Texans rebuild episode for you, and we're back in our next game against the Cleveland Browns. With about 30 seconds left in the first half, we're trying to move the ball down 17-10 with an effort to try to put some points on the board before half. Biggs is going to throw a really nice pass here as Albert O gets open on the seam. He's been doing this all year for us. He's a little bit of a cheat code, if I'm being honest with you. If he gets open in that seam route with his speed, he is gone, and nobody's able to catch up to him on this one, and this is going to tie the ball game. As you guys can see, that last-ditch effort tackle there by number 21 almost gets him. I mean, if he takes the right angle with that tackle, that's just a Madden issue right there. If he takes the right angle with that tackle, he probably has him. But Albert O gonna go the distance for the touchdown here at the end of the half, essentially. So we're gonna be tied 17-17 going into the half in this one, and Albert O continues his reign of terror of opposing defenses. The offense has been rolling pretty good here today. We do have one interception that was a little bit unfortunate. He was hit as he threw, and it ended up being a tip ball interception, so not really his fault. But the offense has looked good today. The defense has looked pretty good, and we have ourselves a ball game against one of the better teams in the AFC right now. The Cleveland Browns being, I think, about an 86 overall coming into this game. So definitely an interesting matchup here to see if we can't compete with a top-tier team like this. So we'll catch you guys again on the next highlight. And we're back here, guys, after the game. Really, things just kind of fell off the rails after that first half. We were playing them pretty tough, 17-17 at the end of the first half, but then another interception set them up for an easy touchdown, and we really couldn't get the stops we were getting in the first half defensively. And so they were able to run away from us a little bit, our offense not being as prolific, not able to necessarily keep up. So we do come away with an L in that game against the Browns, a pretty formidable Browns team, 38-24. We fall to 2-4 on the season, and in terms of the division, we are still technically sitting second. The Colts and the Jaguars are pretty bad this season, and we have the Jaguars up next and followed by the Colts after that. So two opportunities to get wins there, and to be quite honest with you, I might expect us to hit 4-4 before that Miami Dolphins game, and we have a chance to go into the bye week in Week 10 with a positive record. Following that game, though, we did have a couple of nice upgrades for players here that are crucial to our build. The rookie Jeff Eppard has an upgrade. We will be upgrading him as a run stopper. We definitely want to get our run defense secured early on. It's going to be crucial for us. And the same thing for Rick Carr over here. The other defensive lineman that we drafted, will be upgrading him as a run stopper. He's getting close to an 80 overall, which is looking really good for us. And then the final upgrade for us is Keon Crosston, who may or may not figure into our long-term build. He is 25 years old, so he's kind of hitting the end of his nice progression stage, and he's really not that high overall. We're going to look to balance him out a little bit and give him a zone coverage upgrade. The next thing of importance is once we advanced the week to this Jacksonville Jaguars game, we were faced with a lot of contract negotiation scenarios. One of the contract negotiations that I wanted to highlight first is Keke Coutee. Keke Coutee asking for quite a bit of money in comparison to what he's really worth to us. I think we're going to go ahead and let him walk, though he does have some upside. I just think at this point, at 24 years old, with the guys that we've drafted and our potential draft capital moving forward, it's best for us to go ahead and part ways with Keke Coutee. Likewise, I think that it's going to be good for us to part ways with Kevin King. He was kind of just a plug-and-play player for this season. He hasn't proved anything specific to us, and we're still looking for answers in the secondary, so Kevin King is not going to be a long-term solution for us. Now, Dalvin Turk is an interesting one here. Dalvin Turk is the hidden gem strong safety that we picked up as an undrafted free agent. This guy has played pretty well for us so far on the season. Now, I would like to give him a long-term franchise, but I want to play this a little bit realistically in terms of the numbers. And so we're only going to give him a 2-year deal. We are going to give him more money than he's asking for. We're going to give him roughly $3 million per season here over 2 years. Basically a prove-it sort of deal. And then we're going to give him the opportunity money by the time he's 24 years old to earn a legit long-term contract. I think that that will work out well for both parties because there's the opportunity there for him to do well or not do well. You know, he could regress in terms of his dev and stuff like that. He could not play well. And so I think that this one bodes well for us signing him to a 2-year deal, and it bodes well for him. It gives himself an opportunity to increase his overall, increase his value, make some plays, and then he could get a very lucrative contract at that point. So I like this signing for us. We're going to be approaching a lot of these other guys as well that were undrafted free agents for us with a very similar mindset. Now, Nick Biggs is a guy that is asking for 4 years. We're going to approach him with a realistic contract because he has played well for us so far this season. And so as a quarterback, he is going to earn some pretty good money. I think we're going to pay him close to maybe $8 million a year. I don't necessarily want to go with the 4 years. I will maybe see if he'll accept 3 years or not, and we'll see how that one works out for us. So let's offer him $8 million per year. I think that he might accept that over 3 seasons. And as it turns out, he is willing to accept that. So we have Nick Biggs coming back on a 3-year contract, about $8 million per year. Abdul Curley, very similar. He has done a good job of leading our offense so far this season. He's pretty good as a rusher. I have no reason to not offer this man a contract, even for 4 years. I think that he's asking for pretty fair value for a running back out there on the open market. I think realistically speaking, though, we're going to wait on a contract for him just to see how things play out and take a look at some of our other contract offers that we have on the table. We will not be bringing back Spencer Ware, so we're going to go ahead and withdraw our offer on him. We're going to wait and see on guys like Javelin Guidry, Tavares Blackburn. We will be parting ways with Alfred Morris. We absolutely are going to re-sign Jack Hayes to a contract, and so we'll go ahead and try to offer him something. I think that a 2-year deal as well is pretty fair for him, and we're going to give him a little bit more money because he has played really well for us, and I think we're going to give him the opportunity to really earn his keep as a long-term solution for us at wide receiver, and I think he'll accept that, and he does. We're going to be waiting on a couple more of these players. They're very low overall, and we're waiting to see what type of impact they have as long-term players for the team. So Michael Scandrick will be a player that we wait on. We'll wait on Drew Ford. Tyrod Taylor is not going to come back after this season. He was a 1-year deal. Justin Walford, I want to wait and see because there could be a injury to Nick Biggs that could potentially hamper us or something like that. And then we have a couple of other guys here that really don't get playing time, like Thaddeus Moss, Jeremiah Cavanaugh, and then a couple of other guys that are up for negotiation later on. And we're just going to wait and see on these, and we'll update you guys as those negotiations come in. One thing that I am very happy ahead of this stretch of games that is going to be leading into the bye week, something that I'm really happy about is Kerry Crisp returning to the lineup. So we will see a reduction in the workload for Abdul Curley, who has been playing well for us on the season, but Kerry Crisp, as you guys remember, whenever we saw some of those early season highlights, really was breaking out in a big way, and I think he has an opportunity here to take his job back. We will be trying to split reps between these two. I'm not just going to hand it right back to Kerry Crisp because Abdul Curley has been playing well in his absence, but Kerry Crisp is going to be back and earning some playing time. And here you guys have it, super early into the game here. The Jaguars score on the first drive, but Kerry Crisp, getting his second touch of the game, breaks away in a big way. He gets some nice blocks up front, slips past a couple of guys, makes a move on the first defender, and goes almost all the way. He actually gets caught at about the 2-yard line, but a fantastic 61 yard run here for Kerry Crisp. I am so happy to have this man back in the lineup, and you guys can expect to see a lot of highlights like this in the future coming from the Houston Texans, bound to be the Houston Oilers. Can't wait to see what this guy's going to do in the rest of the game. Let's go ahead and hop in and see if we can't punch this one in for a touchdown. We're going to try to hand it off to the fullback here on this one, see if he can't punch it in. And he almost does. He takes a big hit there as he tries to punch that one into the end zone. He's going to be unable to do so. We are potentially going to try to pass the ball here real quick. And we don't see anybody open, so we're going to go ahead and throw that one away. Going to bring up a 3rd and goal situation from the 1-yard line. The potential is there, though, for us to punch this in. I like the idea of maybe flipping this play and handing it off to Kerry Crisp. Give him an opportunity to finish off the drive that he started. And he makes the cut, and he gets into the end zone. Kerry Crisp does a nice job of capping off the first drive of the game after his fantastic 61 yards rushing. And man, oh man, I can't say it enough how happy I am to have this guy back in the lineup. This guy runs like an absolute monster. I wanted to highlight another nice route and pass combination here. You guys are going to see Arrington coming across the field here, number 11, running a nice route, getting into space, not getting caught up on anybody, barely gets in there in front of his running back. Now, we could have definitely passed this one to Kerry Crisp out of the backfield, but we hit Arrington, and Arrington does a nice job of making the catch and actually kind of slips by the safety. I'm not sure what the safety's doing there, does a poor job of making a tackle, almost slips this tackle to try to get himself into the end zone, but nice pursuit there by number 97 on the defense. And Arrington sets this team up for a nice opportunity to score. And here we are just a couple of plays later, passing off the screen pass, and Kerry Crisp gets it done. He's going to have his second touchdown on the day, this time a receiving touchdown, to put the Texans up with a 24-10 lead late into the third quarter here. Not a whole lot of time left in this game. Time for the Jacksonville Jaguars to get something done and get back into it, but it's looking good here for the Texans with 4 minutes left on the clock in the third quarter. And guys, we do a pretty good job of closing this game out. We are going to come away with a victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's going to put us at 3-4 on the season with a good opportunity here within the division, especially with this Colts game coming up. We have the 27-17 victory. I want to show you guys the stats real quick from the return game for Kerry Crisp, just so that you guys can see how well he did in his return. 14 carries, 102 yards, and a touchdown in comparison to Abdul Curley, who was significantly less effective on the ground. 12 attempts, 37 yards, no touchdowns, and then in the receiving game, Kerry Crisp added 3 receptions for 13 yards and a touchdown, and then Abdul Curley 1 reception for 4 yards. So an interesting thing brewing there with the halfbacks, but I think not much of a surprise. Kerry Crisp was the standout early in the season, and we were pretty wowed by his performance, and man, I am continuing to be excited for the return of this man to the lineup. We have a slew of other upgrades to add to the development of this team now at this point, headlined by the development of Justin Reid, but we get some nice upgrades here from guys like Braxton Berrios, Dalvin Turk, Javelin Guidry, and Jack Hayes, so those are important upgrades to keep in mind. As I mentioned in the previous videos, we will be temporarily relocating here, and so, we will be sharing stadiums with the Texas Longhorns, and so at this point, we're going to be rolling with a basic traditional stadium just to kind of resemble that look. Now, it's not going to be perfect, it's not going to be spot on, but that's the best way that we can resemble what we've been talking about doing here. Now, we have a couple of really interesting breakout scenarios, and these are coming at a perfect time going against a one-win Colts team. We have to hold the Colts to less than 75 yards rushing and one rushing touchdown, or we have to get Rick Carr 2 interceptions, forced fumbles, tackle for losses, or sacks in this game to get him a development upgrade, as well as a dev breakout challenge here for Kerry Crisp. And this is one that I'm really excited about, and I think that we have an opportunity to get him this breakout challenge pretty easily. We have to get him 2+ touchdowns or 100+ rushing and receiving yards, or rushing/receiving yards. So I think that one's doable. It'll be interesting to see how this game plays out. And yeah, I'm excited for this. We do manage to bring Javelin Guidry back on a 3-year deal. I'm pretty confident in his ability so far. He's played pretty well for us. I know that we haven't seen many highlights or anything like that from him, but he's been very solid for us, and he's a very good athlete. He's still pretty young at 23 years old. I like the prospect of bringing him back for a few years and giving him an opportunity to develop and hopefully take on a starting role for this team as a long-term solution. And Abdul Curley is doing a nice job here early in this game of spelling Kerry Crisp on his effort in trying to get 100+ yards and get his breakout challenge. Curley does have a couple of rushes to this point, and Kerry Crisp is up to, I think, about 35 yards early on this first drive, and we hand it off to Curley, and he's able to gain the edge just barely on a missed tackle there by the defender. He's able to get around, and he takes it all the way to the house to put us ahead 7-0 over the Indianapolis Colts early in the first quarter. Our defense has been absolutely outstanding so far in today's matchup, and in our effort to get Rick Carr his breakout challenge, we are looking to get him some sacks, but we're mainly looking to stop the run. However, Frank Rucker here does a beautiful job of splitting a double team by two great offensive linemen. I mean, we're talking about Kelly and Nelson, who are a fantastic duo for the Colts here. This man splits this double team by these two and is able to get to the quarterback. And yes, that is Colin Kaepernick back there at quarterback for the Colts. I don't know how they didn't find a higher overall option to start at quarterback, but an interesting one here, as the Colts offense has been struggling to move the ball against this defense, which has been stout today, and making plays like this a beautiful sack and a beautiful effort by Rucker. So, some good plays on the defensive side of the ball, and we'll see you guys as more highlights roll in. And ladies and gentlemen, we are on Dev Trait upgrade watch here as Kerry Crisp is working his way down to the end zone. He gets the blocks and he gets in. He's going to get his one touchdown. That should be good enough to get us the development upgrade for him to star, but we will be continuing to force feed him the ball on the offensive side as we go up 14-0. The Colts have not been able to do much against us in terms of their offense, so no reason to put the ball into the air for us today. Nick Biggs has been a little bit accurate when we have tried to go to the air. I think he's 1 for 6 on passes so far, so we will be handing off the ball quite a bit in the remainder of this game. And we catch up here once again towards the end of the first half. We do have a 14-0 lead prior to this play, and Nick Biggs does a nice job of adjusting on the fly here. He's got guys bearing down on him. He doesn't see the pressure coming from behind him, gets hit as he throws, and so this one's going to be a bit of a lame duck pass. But Arrington does a fantastic job. The rookie wide receiver, number 11, Arrington, does a great job of adjusting to this wobbler that is thrown by Nick Biggs. And Arrington adjusts to the ball, has enough athleticism to adjust and get upfield, and gets into the end zone for a touchdown. That's going to give us a 21-0 lead. While we're here, I want to update you guys on the stats of the game because of the Dev Upgrade Challenge. So defensively speaking, or rather team-wise, I think that it's important to note that we've only given up a total of 14 rushing yards. We have not given up any points yet, so we are well on our way to getting that Dev Upgrade Challenge for our defensive linemen. But we'll keep you guys posted as the game develops, I should say. And as we hit the fourth quarter here, we are up with a 31-3 lead. This one has been an absolute dominant game for us, and you guys are going to see Kerry Crisp carried in one more time for a touchdown. This man's having himself a game. This matchup came at the right time of the season, especially with these two Dev Upgrade challenges, and I think that we are absolutely going to get them both here at this point. Defensively speaking, we have been locked down so far in this game. I think that it's just been a struggling Colts offense, especially coming into this game at 1-6, and this 38-3 lead is not pretty for them, and I think that they're just looking to run out some clock and come away maybe with a morale victory here in terms of a score or something at the end of the game, so we'll see what happens in terms of that. And there you guys have it. That's the end score of the game. Believe it or not, the Colts were able to put up a couple of touchdowns there and put up a fight at the end of the game to make things look a little bit better. A couple of passing touchdowns. We did hold the Colts, though, to about 30-some rushing yards, and they did have one rushing touchdown, so we'll have to see if that gives us that Dev Upgrade Challenge for defense or not. But on the offensive side of the ball, we definitely hit our mark with Kerry Crisp. He had 154 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns, and that's not even to mention his receiving yards within that game. And here you guys have it. We did indeed hit our mark for Rick Carr. So Rick Carr is going to be upgraded. Actually, he's upgraded to Superstar. I forgot he was already hidden dev. And so our first round pick, our early first round pick, is now up to Superstar, which is a great thing to have on the defensive side of the ball here. And he's going to be up to an 80 overall here as well, as we approach a really good point in development for a lot of these players. His first ability here is going to be Secure Tackler. We may consider changing that, but he is primarily a run-stopping player. If it gives us like Reach Elite or something like that, that might be the way that we go. But a really nice upgrade there for Rick Carr. And then we did also get the upgrade for Kerry Crisp on this Breakout Challenge. So a couple of really nice pickups there for us in that game. And then we have the Miami Dolphins, who, look like that could be a winnable game here going into the bye week. And so we're sitting right now at 4-4. The Titans are sitting at 4-2. So we do have some possibilities here, potentially getting into playoff contention, but we'll see how things play out as we move forward. Kerry Crisp gets 3 upgrades off of that game and off of that development upgrade challenge. So this is going to be huge for him, going up to star and going up to at least a 76 overall. We are going to upgrade him as an elusive back because that's just my preference with him. And you guys can see his bar finally goes green up there at the top right, and he's actually pretty close to another upgrade. So really nice upgrades from him. And then we have a couple of other important upgrades for guys like Frank Rucker, Lee Arrington, Abdul Curley, and Nick Biggs, all following that game. And man, we got some more interesting developments coming into this game. As a 4-4 team facing off against the 3-5 Dolphins, we have yet again 2 more breakout challenges. And so this time we're going to get an opportunity to do a breakout challenge to get Lee Arrington involved here. And so Lee Arrington's going to need 2+ touchdowns or 100+ rushing receiving. That one's going to be difficult to get because it's hard to focus on a receiver in this offense because everybody is such a low overall. And then the second challenge that we have here today is actually going to be for Kerry Crisp yet again. And we're going to have the opportunity to take this man up to Superstar. And against Miami, I think that this is a possibility. Getting him 3+ touchdowns or 150+ rushing receiving, I really feel like we can get this done, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Now, what I'm going to say is we're at week 8 of the season, so we're going to go ahead and do a stats review, pointing out some important stats on the season, and then we're going to go ahead and try to accomplish some of those breakout challenges and stuff in the next video. So from a stats perspective, Nick Biggs is having a very respectable rookie season. 2,000 passing yards now, 18 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions with a 92.9 passer rating. That is very respectable for a rookie quarterback that didn't have a lot of expectations on him, now only a 71 overall. He's got a lot of promise to him, and he's played very well. On the rushing side of things, Abdul Curley, as we said, did a very good job of carrying the load while Crisp was gone, but Crisp also doing a really nice job. We can see here that Crisp is a little bit more efficient with his carries at 6.1 yards per carry, and he has 5 touchdowns in less carries. So something to keep of note there. And Nick Biggs did add a little bit of yardage on the ground. From a receiving perspective, Albert O continues his tear. He has 575 yards and leads the team with 6 receiving touchdowns as well. But Lee Arrington is getting up there at 493 yards and 4 touchdowns, and Jack Hayes has 328 yards and 4 touchdowns. So we have a nice spread here between our receivers, and that's not even to mention the guys like Abdul Curley and Braxton Berrios, who added some yardage, as well as Kerry Crisp and a few others as they've gotten some time. From a defensive perspective, the stats that I want to highlight are our sacks. We have 5 sacks now coming from JoJo Stanton, who's been doing a really nice job on the edge. 4 sacks from Jeff Eppard, who, we didn't expect to be a huge pass rushing force, but is doing really well because he's he's more of a balanced player. He can do it all. He doesn't do it all fantastically, but he can do it all. And so that's good to see. Rick Carr with 3.5 sacks. We have Jalen Haskins up with 3 sacks, and then we have a couple here and there from some other players as well. In terms of interceptions, Dalvin Turk, the strong safety that was an undrafted free agent hidden gem player, doing really well for us. He's only up to 71, but he has 2 interceptions on the season, has a lot of tackles, and is playing really, really well on the defensive side of the ball. And that's it for the stats review. That's all I really wanted to go over. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys do enjoy, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, if you want to see more, and comment down below with what you guys think. We're hitting all those dev challenges. Do you think this team could be a playoff team already? I think it's going to be a stretch to try to get there. We've played a couple of easy games at this point. We're probably looking to have a tough stretch at the end of the season. So let us know what your thoughts are in the comments section, and we'll see you guys in the next video. I'm trying to get 2 of these out this week, I think, so look forward to another one, as I have time to make it. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good night.